So let's kick off the year properly. Richard, good to see you here. I don't know if you can hear me. But today we're going to talk about objection handling. It's going to be a reminder on our overall structure that we follow when we're handling objections. But we're also going to look at some reframes. And when we're talking about reframes, it's really different ways to help people make a shift in their mindset, because there's typically a sabotaging belief getting in their way of moving forward with us. So we're going to talk about different voice tracks that we can use, sound bites, to really help them overcome their own objections. Richard, what's up? Happy New Year.
How you doing, Chris?
Good to see you.
So we got 3 of those videos running on Facebook. We got the lab coat and the other 2.
And how's that going?
Not getting anything. No bites. Doing about 40 a day.
Hey, so let me turn off this. So
I'm not gonna. You want to do your thing first? You can.
No. Let's chat about it a little bit. I'm just waiting for folks to join as well. How many days are these running?
Yeah, they just kind of started a couple days, so that's why I'm gonna give it the whole month of January.
Okay. Let's
Today's what, the 6th or something.
yeah, I would, because it's kind of like a weird week where people are getting readjusted,
Yeah.
kind of like back into their schedule. So I would let, if I'm running any ads, any ad campaigns, I would let them run this week, and then I will look at performance. Did you send out
Yeah, that
the
day one. That day
how?
one.
Yeah, and did you get any replies?
I got a couple of replies. I was trying to call them, and then they wouldn't pick up.
Okay.
I call them, and I said, I just left a message, on that CMNRT. I said, I just tried to call you, try to set it up. No, I'm busy. So
Yep.
I'll try again Monday. I mean, I did it a couple of days. I try to follow up, but they did
Then
raise their hand. But I'm gonna send day 3 on tomorrow.
yeah, when people reply,
I'm
you can
sending day
call
3
them.
tomorrow.
When people reply, you can call them, but you can also continue the conversation in an email as well. So in an email or a text as well. So you can ask them a question and you can qualify that way as well. Can you hear me? My signal seems to be choppy, or is it you guys? I hope you guys can hear me. Can you let me know if you can hear me? Daniel, can you hear me? Is it just Richard who's frozen? Yeah, I think it's just Richard. Okay, cool. All right, so let's hit the ground running. We're gonna, just to remind everyone, we're gonna talk about objection handling and specifically about the reframes. I'm gonna go through the basic framework of objection handling real quickly, just to remind everyone, because it's important. We're gonna start getting on calls, we're gonna start having conversations with people. So honoring the framework is key. And then the reframes come on top to help us handle more objections and be much more effective with our objection handling. So let me share my screen here. Let's see. And if you have any specific objections that you're getting, of course, we can handle them and we can look at how exactly do we approach them on this call. But essentially, we've talked about it before. Feel free to ask questions. 3 steps to handle any single objection. I call it the DAC formula. So we start by diffusing. We don't want to acknowledge. We don't want to say, oh, I understand. Everyone tells them, I understand. Right? This is overplayed. And in a sense, no one really, like, when someone, if we look at from our point of view, when someone says, oh, I totally understand what you mean. Do you really feel understood? Like, be real with me. I don't. When someone tells me I understand, I know that he's just saying it because he wants to say his thing. So instead, I want to change my language in a way that diffuses the objection. So what I want to say is, yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem. When you say you don't have money, what do you mean by that? Or when you say it's too expensive, what do you mean by that? So the first step is to diffuse the objection and to get clarity around it. So this is too expensive for us. No problem. Just so I understand, how do you mean it's too expensive? Well, the other company is 12% cheaper for the same product. A lot of people, they will start objection handling, or they will start offering payment plans here, and they ignore the actual objection that's, I found something cheaper. Now, step number 2 is we want to agree, but it's not that we agree with the prospect. I want you to be careful here. It's we want to come to an agreement with the prospect. So we want to come to an agreement around the solution. So besides the objection that they just said, do we agree that what I'm putting in front of them will get them to where they want to go? The big mistake most people make is they go back into selling mode. They start making more promises, more facts, more futures, more benefits. We have to realize that when someone gives us an objection, they are in a no state. What they're telling us is, no, I'm not buying it because of this reason. The reframe that we want to make is we want to take them from no, I'm not buying because of this reason. I want to get them to the yes state, what I call yes state. And that means, yes, I will buy this if we fix this. And it might seem small, but if I get that commitment, all I need to do afterwards is take care of the objection. So I always want to make sure that I'm handling the real objection. And how I'm able to do that is, let's look at an example. We like your product at this time, I can't afford it. That's fine. If you did have the money, this is word for word what I would say. If you did have the money, do you feel like the solution will get you to where you want to go? So what am I asking them exactly? If I give you this solution, do you feel that you will reach your goal? Aside from the objection. If I did a good job presenting to them, they're going to say, yes, I feel this is the answer for me. Now, I want to confirm that yes, because a lot of people, oh yeah, for sure, but there's no weight behind that yes. So I want to get them to defend that yes, so they can start selling themselves as well. So how I'm able to do that is when they say yes, for sure, I'm going to jump in. I'm not going to let them babble and start talking because they're going to come with another objection. So when they say yes, for sure, why do you feel that way though? That's what I want to say right away. So I asked the prospect, if you did have the money, do you feel like the solution will get you to where you want to go? They're going to say yes. Why do you feel that way though? And now what are they going to do? They're going to say, well, I feel it's going to help me because I like that you have coaching and I like this and I like that and I like that. So they start selling themselves on your program, on your solution, no matter what you're selling. When I'm getting this type of language back from the prospect and they tell me, yes, I like this. I like, for example, if you're selling coaching, I like that you have a community. I want to ask them, how do you see a community helping you though? And now they're gonna go much deeper and they're gonna give me an emotional outcome that they will get out of buying my solution. So what are they really telling themselves? They're telling themselves at that moment that, oh boy, I have this objection, but if I overcome this objection in my mind, I'm gonna get all this good stuff. Do you realize how powerful that is? I'm letting them do the work. And all I'm asking them is, do you feel besides the objection, besides the money, besides your partner, do you feel that this is the answer for you? Yes, it is. Why do you feel it is? Because of X and Y and Z. So they start selling themselves and I go deeper. Once I find those reasons that they would buy, they would move forward, then what I'll do is step number 3, I'll start collaborating with them. So I don't want to just, I know we use the language overcome objections, but by using that language, we're making it too hard on ourselves. We have to realize it because it's kind of like it becomes adversarial, right? It's not, objection handling is not adversarial. It's not that I have a dragon and the other side and I have a sword and I will kill the dragon and I get the sale because they are the ones who buy. I cannot pummel them into buying. So it has to be a collaborative process. Now, how do I turn this into a collaboration? I'm gonna do it by asking a how-to question. So no matter the objection, I will use a variation of this question to get them to brainstorm different ways of handling their own objection. So what I will say is, how do you think you can resolve that? So you can find, for example, so you can find the money so you can get the results that you want. Let's look at some specific examples. So let's say they give me something, an objection around the budget. What I will say is, how do you think you can resolve that? Where you can come up with the investment so you can get to the outcome that you want. Now, what are they going to do? They're going to start brainstorming ways of them coming up with the investment. A bonus that I can add if they cannot come up with ways or they're not willing to brainstorm then and there is I'm going to ask a nightmare question. I'm going to ask them, well, what happens if you don't find the investment and you still struggle with X and Y and Z problems? Let's look at the time objection. After I take them through the first 2 steps, I'm going to ask them, how much time do you think using the solution would take so you can get to the outcome? When it comes to the partner objection, well, how does your partner feel about you wanting to fix X and Y and Z problem? They're going to say, oh, they're very supportive. Again, I'm going to ask them a nightmare question. What happens if you go to them and they don't want you to come up with the investment or they don't support you so you can solve X and Y and Z problems? When it comes to the think about it, we're going to use a variation and we're going to ask, what's coming up for you that you wanted to go over in your mind, just in case I can help? Now, if they stay, with their cards hidden, I can probe a little bit deeper and I will use my tonality. Is it a money thing? Just in case I can help. So that's an easy way for me to probe and understand that if it's a financial objection. Now, I'm going a little bit deeper here because I want to give you the full objection handling tree. Let's say I ask them, is it a money thing? Just in case I can help. And they say yes. Now, it's important for me to understand if it's a money objection, an actual money logistical objection, or they're fearful of making the investment. So I'm going to ask them, is it about coming up with the money? Or maybe we have some uncertainty about making the investment, like if it's going to work for you. So that's how we can get immense clarity around what type of objection it is, how do we diffuse it, and how do we help them overcome it. Let's take a pause. And does anyone have any questions about the framework here? And we're going to look at different reframes. Any questions about the foundational framework? We've looked at it before. I just want to make sure it's clear because we have to start here before we start throwing reframes. Cool. The biggest and the simplest reframe we have to make is one, and it doesn't involve crazy stories. It doesn't involve, some insane tactic, but it's super important for everyone to understand. When we drop the price when we drop the price at that moment, where is the focus of the prospect? What are they focused on? The moment I say, perfect, the investment that's needed for you to buy my thing, you're not going to use that language. I'm just giving you a rough example. The investment is 10,000. What would you like to do? Where is their focus? Their focus, Daniel, I saw your question, I'm going to answer it. Their focus is exactly, it's on price. And it happens with everyone, because it's what's painful for us, right? It's what's being taken away from us. For us, when we're walking into a clothing store and we like a piece of clothing, what are we looking at? We're looking at the price tag, because we want to see, for me to buy this, how much do I have to, what do I have to give? What do I have to sacrifice? So we have a prospect that it's price-based thinking. We have to make the reframe always to outcome-based thinking. So we want them to think and shift their mindset about the outcomes that they're gonna get. That's why when I'm presenting the price, I'm always including the outcome. And the correct formula for you to present the investment is this. Okay, Chris, so it sounds like we found what you were looking for. The investment is pretty straightforward. It's 10,000. And what's needed for you to get X and Y and Z outcome is 10,000. So let me repeat it. So Chris, it sounds like we found what we were looking for in a solution. What's needed for you to fix X and Y and Z challenge is an investment of 10,000. So what did I do? I'm presenting the problems that we'll fix right next to the price, or the outcomes that we're going to achieve together right next to the price. It depends on how the conversation went. So if the prospect didn't really have any, heavy problems and they're just starting out, I'm going to say, okay, so what's needed for you to get to 20,000 a month with your business? The investment is 10,000. So now I'm shifting their focus right away. I'm reframing it to the outcomes. But even during my objection handling, I always want to make the foundational reframe of getting them to think about outcomes, because their focus will always be by default on price. That's how the brain works. Clear for everyone? Perfect. Let's look into some more advanced reframes. So let's talk about a person with a limited mindset, right? And what does that mean? We drop the investment on them, we do everything right, but we get the sense of there's uncertainty there. Maybe they haven't invested that amount before and they have some fear, they have concern. So this is what we'll say. Okay, so I can understand that this is a big move for you and you might need to think about it or maybe take some time. May I ask you a question? Do you feel that your mindset and your decision-making process have got you to where you are today? They're going to say yes, of course, because that's the only way things work, right? Another variation of this question is, do you feel that your mindset and decision-making process affect the outcomes that we get in life? I'm going to repeat that. Do you feel that your mindset and decision-making process affect the outcomes that we get in life? They're going to say yes, of course. And we'll say, okay, and are you 100% happy with where you are in life right now? They're going to say, well, no. I can also ask, why not? Well, because I'm struggling with X and Y and Z challenges. And now I will say, okay, and do you want the decision-making process that got you to where you are today with all those challenges to dictate the results you get in the future? No, I don't. Why not? Well, I'll keep having this problem and this problem and this problem. Well, I guess we're in the fork in the road. You have two options from here. You can stay there, keep having these challenges with the same exact mindset right now, or you can make a change so you can actually get to where you want to go. Which road do you feel puts you in the best possible position to actually grow? So essentially, we're challenging the prospect, but we're doing it in a way without blaming them or without pointing fingers at them. This is a very elegant way of challenging their mindset in a way that gets them to think it doesn't raise their defenses. Is that clear for everyone, this sequence? If it's not clear, just unmute yourselves. Let's look at number 2. So a lot of times we will use this one and they will say, well, yes, I agree that my mindset, is holding me back, but I still want to think about it. Here's what I will say next. I will say, and this makes sense because we all make decisions based on our current perspective. The hardest thing is making decisions based on where we want to be. Like an overweight person is overweight because they make the choices that an overweight person makes. They have a fundamentally flawed decision-making process around health, fitness, and nutrition, their diet. It's not until they start making the decision of an athlete that they become like an athlete, that they have the body of an athlete. Do you know what I mean? Yes. So what choices do you feel you need to start making so you can get the perspective and the results that you want to have? Oh, I need to change my mindset. I need to start making decisions as the 100K a month person. Okay, so what action do you feel is going to allow you to get to that point? And typically that leads them to say, yes, you're right, I need to make a change. And the right the right move for me is to invest so I can get to where I want to go. Reframe number 2 clear for everyone. Essentially, we're using an analogy as the vehicle of delivering the insight. We're using an analogy of an overweight person, and we're telling the metaphor in a way that, hey, an overweight person doesn't turn into an athlete unless they start acting as the athlete. So now, if you're making 5,000 a month and you want to get to 50,000 a month, do you feel that staying with the right mindset that you have right now, the 5K a month person, is going to get you to 50K a month? No, it's not. Okay, so what do you feel the 50K a month Chris would do in this point in time so they can get there? They would invest in themselves, they would learn, they would be more consistent, they would, etc., etc. That's how we're able to shift their mindset. And as you can see, I'm just holding a mirror. I'm not telling them something they don't want to hear. I'm holding up a mirror and I'm telling them, hey, you told me that you have to be this person. Are you making decisions like this person? But as you see, we have a process of getting there, because if I just slap them with, hey, you told me you want to make 50K, why are you not investing? They're not going to be receptive to that. That's why we're using that analogy to help them have an aha moment in their mind so they can get action and so they can accept the insight. Let's look at the reframe number 3. And this is more for a think about it objection. All of these actually, I wanted to include and you can use in think about it objections. And it's a variation of limited mindset, uncertainty, fear. So let's look at reframe number 3. And this is where they say, I want to think about it. I want to sit on it for 3 days. I will say, would you be open to looking at that from a different perspective? Or you can say, may I make a suggestion here before you go and think about it? Yes. Okay, so let's say you drove to work every single day and every single day you took this specific route that took you 2 hours and you didn't like this commute, and someone comes up to you and you say, well, there's actually a shortcut. Instead of you taking 2 hours, you can only take half an hour. And suppose they said, I always take this route. I hate taking because I always take it. It's what I've always been doing, and I'm always going to take this route. Now, would that make much sense to you if they told you that? No, it wouldn't. Well, why not? Because there's a clear shortcut, but that person still wants to take the long and hard road. Okay. So isn't this what's happening here with us right now? So far, you've chosen the long road, the hard road, and we have the shortcut, as you've seen from our case studies. So if I may ask, what's really holding you back from getting the shortcut so you can move faster towards your goals? I'm expanding it a bit. Typically, the moment you reach that point, the person will be, you're right. Yes, I'm doing that. And again, we're using an analogy here. And let me give you another version of this as well. So they tell me, let me think about it. I want to think it over. You can use, yeah, that's no problem. Would you be open to looking at that from a different perspective? Sure thing. So if you saw a person and they start hanging from a bridge, they're about to fall off a cliff, they're one hand, they're holding on, and they're about to fall. And you extend their arm, and they're like, here, grab my hand and I'll save you. Grab my hand, I'll pull you up. Grab my hand. And they're like, let me think about it. As they're hanging from the cliff, they're like, let me think about it here. Do you think that person would be reasonable? Like, would that make much sense to you if they told you that? No. So again, we're using these metaphors, these analogies as a vehicle to deliver that insight. And essentially what we're telling them, what that means is, you came to us for help, we're giving you the help that you need. What is it that you want to think about? But again, we cannot just slap them around. With some people, with 1 out of 100 people, it can work. Just slap them around and you'll get the sale. But this will work with 90 out of 100 people because we're helping them enter a hypnotic state, a state that doesn't trigger sales resistance because we're using a story to deliver that insight. Does that make sense for everyone? Both versions of the story, metaphor.
I have a question.
Please.
So after the first reframe, you do like a closing question then, or so
That's
it's
right.
like a loop,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay, I see. So you do the reframe and then you ask like how should we go from here, and then you take it from there, right?
Yeah, I want to lead into it. So how I lead into it is, let's say I do this reframe. So let's role play it out, right? And tell me, whatever, take it from there.
Yeah, it's a good solution, but I really need to think about it.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Ali, may I make a suggestion?
Sure.
So suppose you drove to work, every single day, and every single day you took this road that took you 2 hours to get to work, right? And there's always traffic, you bump into other cars, and you don't really enjoy the ride. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And a person comes to you and they tell you, hey, you can just take this shortcut. It will only take you 30 minutes because there's not much traffic from there. Would you be against taking that road? That's a lot less traffic and gets you there faster.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Why would you take that road?
Yeah, because I don't like to, take a longer road. If it's something shorter, I would take it for sure.
Okay. So if I may ask, like what's really holding you back from getting our shortcut so you can get to where you want to go faster?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a risk. I mean, if I pay 10K for a program, I don't know if I get the results or not.
How are you going to know if you get the results or not?
I don't know. I mean, if I put in 10K, I mean, and I'm not getting the results, I mean, I'm losing 10K.
Yeah, how are you going to know if you get the results or not, though?
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of money to put in. It's a risk.
It's definitely risky, but you tell me, is it more risky to stay exactly where you are, keep losing, 10,000 in sales every single month, and stay exactly where you are, lose 120K over the year? Or is it more risky to invest 10,000 to the solution, stop getting objection after objection, and actually capturing 5 to 10,000 every single month? Like, which is more risky in your mind?
Yeah, it's more riskier to um yeah, that was good actually. That was yeah, it's more riskier to like not doing anything about it for sure.
Okay. Then what do you feel puts you in the best possible position to get to where you want to go? What do you think you should do?
Yeah, we should talk about the program.
Is it
Yeah, because I don't have any choice, right?
right?
Any choice. But the thing is, how can I, ask those questions without get them like get the wall, get the resistance, right?
Mhm.
So, but because I feel like when I ask them like how can you, put yourself on the best possible position, to get to your 30K a
Mhm.
month.
Yeah.
But, when I ask that question, they feel like, they already decide they don't want to go with the, you know what I mean?
No. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. You don't know for sure what they've decided. What I feel is happening is because they initially reject you,
Yeah.
I feel that you're getting it as a no, and you feel they're stonewalling you, where in their mind, they might be, on the verge, or they might be heavily around no, but unless I start deploying the reframes, I can't swerve them.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
100%. 100%. Um, yeah, I should learn
Like
those.
you were a no in that situation, right? Because you were saying what were you saying? Oh, it's risk, it's 10,000, it's just in 10, it's 10,000.
Yeah.
But where was your focus?
On the price.
Okay. And what did I do? Did I say, did I say it's not risky? Did I say it's affordable? Did I say it's cheap?
No.
I said it is risky.
Yeah.
But which is more risky? Is it more risky? Is the price more risky? Or is the outcomes that you're living right now on the table to keep missing out on those outcomes? Is that more risky?
Mm.
So it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, before any of the advanced, before all of this. It's shifting their focus to where they want to go
Mm.
and what they're living on the table now.
Yeah.
People shut down once they look at the price and they emotionally shut down because, oh, I would never pay that. Because they can only see right at that moment, all they can see is 10,000 leaving their account,
Mm.
right? That's all they see. And that's where I come in and I have to reframe them into, well, yeah, it's a lot of money to some people,
Mm.
but how much money are you missing out? Or it's not only have to be about money, it can be a health offer, it can be anything. Like, what are you leaving right now on the table? How much is that costing you in terms of relationships, in terms of your time, in terms of anything?
Yeah, and I have a question about that
Yeah,
because um I'm going through that every day and try to
yeah.
learn one reframe and objection and so on. So when I ask the question, how much in terms of time, money, and
Mhm.
energy, should I ask those three or should I plug in something in there?
No, I have to get to that point, right? So it's not that I'm gonna hop on a call with someone and during my hell awareness, I'm gonna ask them, oh, how much are you missing out? I'm not gonna get the answer,
Yeah.
right? There's gonna be resistance because they're not sure around around what they're answering.
Okay.
So let me give you an example, right?
Mm.
Let's role play. Like,
Yeah.
what am I selling? Tell me what I'm selling.
You can take sales as you're selling business
Okay,
coach, sales coaching.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Ali, how much are you missing out right now in terms of your sales a month?
I don't know. I mean,
Whoops, see what I mean?
yeah.
We go nowhere because it's not specific enough, right?
Okay.
Let's do
So,
another scenario. Hold on.
okay.
So you don't know because again, it was too upfront. Like you don't know, there's no symptom that I can build off of. Like it was too direct.
Mm.
So let's do the replay. So Ali, like, how satisfied are you with the results that you're getting right now with your sales performance?
Um, I'm not. Yeah, I don't like the results I'm
Why
getting.
not though?
Yeah, because I feel like I'm missing out 3 or 4
Mm.
sales every month. Like
Well,
I
hold
should.
on. Whoa. Why are you saying that you're missing out sales?
Um,
Like what's happening?
yeah, because I'm selling around 3 programs a month, but
Yeah.
I feel like I can sell easily 6, and those 3 I don't sell. It's something I'm missing out.
Mm. How many, let's break it down because I'm not sure, but I don't want to make any assumptions. Like how many calls are you taking like on a weekly basis?
Thinking around 10
Okay, so 10 calls, and those are 10 people that show up.
people that show up. Yeah,
Okay, so 10 people show up. So out of those 10 people, how many sales are you making right now?
3.
Okay, 3. So right now we're missing out on 7 sales. Like, what do you feel you're saying, or maybe you're not asking, that makes those people not move forward?
I feel like when I drop the price,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like something there they don't want to go through it, or I get like a lot of like think about it objection, or it's too expensive objection and so on.
How often does that happen? Like ballpark?
Every time, but some of them they go through it, they take it, or some of them most of them they don't want to take it.
Yeah, so how often, like on a weekly basis, typically?
I would say of those 10, I get like 5 or 6.
Mm. So let's do 5 because I don't want to overshoot it. So that's 5 every week. So 5 times 4, that's 20 sales a month.
Yeah.
And how much do you make per sale?
I make 3,000.
3,000.
Yeah.
So 20 times 3,000, help me out. I'm not the, I don't have a calculator now with me. 20 times 3, how much is that?
60.
So about 60,000.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite some money there.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
And how long has this been going on for? Like how many months?
Since I started, like 9 months now.
Oh, so 9 times 6.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Okay. So is that clear now? Do you know how much you're missing out like on over a 9-month basis of the role play?
Yeah, that's much better.
Can you see the difference?
Yeah.
But that's why I want to lead them to it. Did I feed you information?
No.
That's key because you don't feel pressure, right? I'm just asking questions. And I'm not playing dumb, but I'm not feeding you numbers. And
Yeah.
why am I not feeding you numbers? Because now you can't come back and say, oh, you're overflating the numbers. Oh, you said I'll make 60,000. I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
You told me that you're missing out on 20 sales a month, right? We calculated it was collaborative.
Yeah.
But also we reached whatever 360,000, how much you're missing out on. And we agreed that it's time to change that. It's time to start capturing it.
Mm.
Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So is that on the I felt like those questions you asked me was on the problem awareness questions
Yeah.
phase. But my concern is on the objection handling. So it's a question when where it is it was around uh, so yeah it's under the fear objection. So how long have you been thought about changing?
Mhm.
So how much have you been costing you in like time, money, and energy for you to be there
Mhm.
where you're at? So should I go through the same process there as well as
Yeah,
you?
ideally what you want to have happen is you do it in the beginning and you
Yeah.
can eliminate the objection altogether.
Mm. Yeah.
Like that's how you pre-handle objections as well.
Yeah.
Because if I take you through that process, it's going to be much harder for you to give me a fear objection because you know that you're missing out on 300 grand.
Mm.
And now when I drop the investment, it's not going to be, whoa, it's 10,000 because you already have planted in your mind that you're missing out 2 times that amount every single month.
Mm.
And if you don't reach that, let's say point, which you should on most calls, you can do it even during objection handling. You
Yeah.
just focus on a specific problem and you reverse engineer it.
Mm. Yeah.
You will never ask, oh, what do you feel it's been costing you in terms of time, relationships, money? Like these are too many aspects together. You're
Yeah.
either gonna focus on the money if it's a business oriented offer and more B2C or a more B2B, or you're gonna focus on in terms of your health, relationships, because these are one aspect.
Or what they said,
Yeah,
right?
or what
Yeah.
they said.
Mm. Yeah, it's much more clear now. Yeah. Because I feel like I'm asking, on the Egyptian when I dropped the price and I feel like I went through the objection handling, and when I ask that question, I feel like they get overwhelmed, right? Because it's too many questions. Like,
Exactly. It's
yeah.
too many. You have to. You saw it on the portal, just so I'm clear.
Yeah.
You have to customize it.
Yeah.
You have to customize it depending on what you're selling. Like that version is because, I have Richard, who's a chiropractor, which is more health oriented. You're
Yeah.
selling mindset coaching, which it could be a monetary, right? Or if they have problems, you can ask, well, what do you feel it's been costing you in terms of your relationship with your wife? Right? So it really depends on what the other person is all about. And if it's, just to give you an example of how deep it goes, right? What do you feel it's been costing you in terms of your relationship with your wife? Oh, we get into fights, da 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 da. Oh, and what happens if you don't fix this? Well, we're gonna get a divorce. That's trouble. What would that mean for you if you're gonna go through a divorce? Well, I'm gonna lose half my money, and what would that be, ballpark? 50,000. Oh, okay. So you're gonna be splitting up. That's rough. Sounds like it's time for a change. So if you go deep enough, you can still get outcomes, right?
Yeah, it makes sense now. Makes sense because I was too vague and I feel like they get so overwhelmed when I ask those questions, right? So
And tonality plays a big part. Like my tonality and my pacing has to allow you to think. Like if I ask you, what do you feel you've been missing out on? First of all, I'm putting pressure. And now, if I ask you in 1 second, like you feel forced to give a fast answer, fast questions, fast answers. But if I ask you, what do you feel you've been missing out on though in terms of your sales with all these objections that you're getting? Now you're already freaking thinking about how many sales, right?
yeah.
So you're gonna get a much more thoughtful answer because I'm allowing you to go deeper because I'm using soft tonality, but also I'm taking my time with it.
Okay. Yeah. Tonality more slower in the in the
Yeah. Pace it out, especially when it comes to these types of questions where they have to think, we have to allow them to think. And we do that not just by asking the right question, it's by how we're asking the question.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Chris.
No, absolutely. Any other questions, concerns? Daniel, I think you asked if they can come up with if they can't come up with the funds. Did you mean up above? Like what happens if they cannot come up with the funds?
No, basically, Ali, he was more specific, but it's basically the same thing. That
Okay.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
just answering the question.
Okay. Sweet. Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. What other questions do we have? Okay, sweet. So that's pretty much it. Make sure to honor the process, DAC, DAC formula, and the reframes. Always think outcomes and reframing them into outcomes. And yeah, we'll be pretty solid. Ali and Daniel, remember today, same time we have our community call and the formal training. And yeah, I'll see you there. I'm looking forward. I'm excited.
Sure. I have a question. Where can I find those reframes? Do you have a link to those reframes?
I'll send them to you on Slack.
Great. And the slides as well? That would be-
These, I'll put them. I'll send them to you. I'll send everything to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Have a good one, and I'll see you.